Right, I'm going to just quickly talk about using the three dots. Now, the three dots primarily is to train your eye, and the three dot test is primarily what it's about, to work out whether or not your actually your visual observation is accurate. Simple as that's it. It's dots, points, marks, whatever you want to call it, but it's simply about identifying elements on the face that you can use as anchors for everything else. It's not another method. It's not comparable to, say, Loomis or Riley or any of those other things. This is nothing where this is different and easy. This is what I'm talking about. So people are thinking it's a replacement for all. It's not. Do all those things as well, because you'll certainly need whatever I talk about with the three dots. You'll certainly need it if you use Loomis and Riley, because you still need to be observationally accurate. So you can do Loomis, but you still need to be able to see properly, because there's no good just having the wireframe. You still have to transpose what you see onto the wireframe, and that's it. That's the difference. So it's dots, points, marks, whatever you want. And in terms of where you start, you start wherever is obvious to start. So in this case, with this face, let's say we do a vertical. We're looking at the vertical anchors. So we're looking at this. They say, well, let's just go from his forehead line, right, to the tip of his nose and to his end of his beard. There you go. There's three marks that I've identified. People do that. You'll see people do that anyway. It's the same thing. And then in terms of the horizontal, obviously we've got a head at an angle here. So the problem with that is that you would naturally do that. You go from the top of top of his ear to the bridge of his nose to the side of his cheek there. You do that. The trouble is you're forced in an angle, and that isn't a presumed angle. It's something new where you think, oh, that's the angle of it, and you're trying to transpose that. The best way to look at it is it's always horizontal, so it's from the horizontal. So if there's a point at which things align horizontally, that's where you start. So it would be from the side of his cheek, maybe to the bridge of his nose, and then to the side of his cheek on that side. So you've got immediately three dots there. They're not. This is not. Most people think it's ears, eyes, and ears, or side of faces, or even, a hairline to his nose and his chin. Most people think it's that. It's not. It's looking for points on this face that's going to give you some parameters to work to. So once you've got these things identified, you've got a distance from his nose to his cheek identified. Within that, you can find other points. The bridge of his nose or the end of his nose is down here. So obviously you've got other things that you can make comparisons to. But that's it. It's all about visual comparison. And it's exactly the same if you're using Loomis to get the generals, all the mechanics done, but it's not necessary. The problem with Loomis and all those sort of things, you tend to think in three dimensions, and you shouldn't think in three dimensions. It's just shapes, flat shapes. 2 dimensions is what are working. You're going to give the impression of 3 dimensions. So when you've got to a point where you know the parameters of all these things, which is exactly what you'll see people doing, but they will. The problem with that and that and that and that, and then they'll do. I've just seen somebody doing it now, and they put notations on the divisions. The problem with that is it's getting too formulaic, because this face is not like any other face. So the division between the forehead and where the bridge of his nose is, in this case, is unique to this man. So his forehead is probably greater than somebody else's forehead. So you always need to have good visual accuracy. You always need to have good observational accuracy. And that's what the 3 dots, points, marks, whatever you want to call them, is about, observational accuracy. And once you've done all, well, first of all, you've got to do the 3 dot test, right, to find out exactly how accurate you are. Because no matter what you're drawing here, if you can't get those 3 right, like I said in the proper video, the full video, you can't get those 3 right, you won't get this right. It's as simple as that. But the other thing about the 3 dots and the visual accuracy thing is that it trains your eye to see. And that's not just seeing things in the right place. That's seeing the right tones. It's seeing the right colors. It's just training yourself to see. Everything is about observation. You'll hear this 1,000 times. Observation is the key. And that's what the 3 dots are about. It's not about finding some quick way of doing this kind of thing and then this kind of thing. That's not You know, that's already we're into 3 dimensions. We're considering 3 dimensions, which is wrong because it's difficult. It's not wrong, but it's hard. People do it, and I know they do it successfully. Although I've yet to see a decent Loomis that really looks like it's alive instead of like a mannequin. But this is the thing. You have to have, even when you've done all this division of things, you have to have the observational skills. So that's what the 3 dots are about. To be able to say, even without making the marks, to see, as I do, and you've seen me on the previous yesterday morning's drawing, you see I find the marks, the locations of things. So this face, I find the location of things with my scribble, and there's no marks on that at all. There's no points or marks that I use, but I'm just finding the anchors. So I choose to do it this way. And I like it because of what it does to the charcoal. But it can, your way can be completely different. It doesn't have to be like this. But the most important thing is that you train your eye to see more accurately. That's what it's about. That's the root of everything. That's the root. If we're observational and responsive artists, that's what we've got to be able to do. It's different if you're, as someone asked me about, if you were making it out, something out of your head, which is what Loomis was made for, for people who didn't have reference, and it was all about imagination. That's perfect. Loomis is perfect for that. You wouldn't use O'Reilly, I suppose, but you wouldn't use any other method. I mean, as I said the other day, when we worked as illustrators, we would get people in the studio to pose, which is a common thing that you would see. I mean, that's probably what, to some extent, how Rockwell started, but he would obviously pay people to do it as well. But seeing properly and looking for the right elements, the anchors, is what it's all about. And that's it. I just wanted to clarify that it's not a formula, not a method. It's not instead of, it's as well as. If anything else, it's as well as Riley, or as well as Loomis, or other geometry you want to employ. But you have to be able to do this. You have to be able to see with accuracy. Otherwise, you'll struggle with everything. You'll struggle with color mixing. You'll struggle with everything. You've got to train your eye, and having simple 3 dots that you can pinpoint. Working on a horizontal, let's say, if you can just simply see 3 points, and you can get those accurate, everything else will fall into place. And that's it. Just a brief update, I think, after my friend had just commented and said he didn't know where to start. So if you're watching this, mate, that's where you start, and that's what it's all about. It's not, you can carry on with your Loomis, it's fine. It's not, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with using Loomis at all. It's just a bit more complicated than it needs to be. But yeah, right, that's it. I'm going. A nice quick one. No rambling, not much in there.